tomorrow will be better. Find the reaction force and in each of these cases, follow me dear friends, solution. For very long now, so many candidates, as a result of this, have grown to understand or to believe that N will always be equal to mg. This is not always the case, dear friends. Now look at this first case here. There are no other forces acting on this object. Here there are only two forces, its weight and then the normal or the reaction force on it. For this reason, according to Newton's second law of motion, this is true. N equals mg because there are no other forces. But in the second case, dear friends, hey, there is a second force here acting on this object. For this reason, and again in accordance with Newton's second law, there's a need for resolving forces in order to find N. So, the first thing, since our N, which is of interest, is along the vertical plane, I will only focus on forces along the vertical plane. Look at force F. This can be decomposed into a vertical component as so and a horizontal component as so. Why these directions? Because the resultant, which is F, is acting somehow downward at a certain angle, all right? So because now I'm focusing only on the vertical forces, I'm going to consider the vertical component of F. And in accordance with the Pythagorean theorem for forces, we will have that the component of force F along this plane is going to be F sine this angle. So right now we have two forces acting downward plus mg. These are the two forces acting downward, which should equal the only force acting upward, which is N. So in this case, this is what N is. Now in the third case, dear friends, it's a little bit more complicated. Let this be angle theta. Now, experiment has proven that if we have a load on an incline like this, along the plane of motion we have a component of its weight, which is sine theta, and perpendicularly to the plane of motion we have cos theta. Clearly, as we can see, the only force along this plane, the only forces along this plane for this particular case here are N and mg cos theta. For this reason, N vertically upward will be equal to mg cos theta downward. And this is how it is for this other case, because tomorrow will certainly be better.